Some people disappear from your life expecting to be missed and return shocked to find they were forgotten by the peace they left behind. They may not text you, they may not call, but what if I told you that silence you're hearing? It doesn't mean they've moved on. It means they're waiting to see if you'll break. But not today, my friend, because today we're flipping the script, not with revenge, not with drama, but with powerful peace and unforgettable transformation. Before we dive in, do yourself a favor. Hit that like button, press subscribe, and stay with me till the end. Because this message might just change the way you see everything. And I promise, it's not just words. It's your comeback, disguised as calm. Hey folks, imagine this. A radio is playing full volume in a room. Then suddenly, it goes silent. No static, no hum, just stillness. At first, it feels peaceful, but then it gets eerie. You start to notice the things you ignored before, the ticking clock, the creaking floor, your own heartbeat. That's what your silence feels like to them now. They thought ignoring you was power. But when the noise stopped, they started hearing what they tried to block out. See, most people think if someone isn't calling or texting, it means they're over you. Nah, that's not always the truth. Sometimes silence is not peace, it's strategy. They want to see if you'll chase, if you'll beg, if you'll fold like paper the moment they pull their attention away. But here's the twist. They didn't expect your silence to turn into growth, into glow, into strength. They didn't expect you to become unforgettable because you didn't fight for crumbs. My friends, stop thinking you need to prove your worth to someone who can't even recognize gold when it's in their hands. You are not a text away from crumbling. You're a whole universe expanding quietly. Don't let their lack of communication make you question your value. That's their noise, not your truth. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. So don't react like they expect. Don't text. Don't explain. Just evolve. Because that is what truly unsettles people who expected to see you begging at the door. They may not admit it, but your absence, it's starting to sting. Not because you shouted, but because you didn't. You didn't collapse. You didn't chase. You didn't post sad quotes hoping they'd see. You just moved differently. And guess what? That quiet strength, it's louder than any message you could have sent, because when people lose access to your energy, when they realize the door isn't open anymore, that's when the memory of you starts to haunt them. You're not just walking away, you're levitating above the drama. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Don't waste your breath explaining your value. Don't water dead plants. Don't pour oceans into people who only bring thirst. This isn't the time to shrink. This is your rise. The most unforgettable version of you isn't the one who pleads to stay. It's the one who walks away with grace, the one who smiles without bitterness, the one who glows without needing validation. Let them wonder. Let them feel your absence. Let your silence echo in the places they thought they'd never miss you. Because one day they'll scroll through their phone, stare at your name, and realize they lost the one thing they'll never replace. So say this out loud with me. I am unforgettable energy. Write that in the comments to claim it, right now. And if this message stirred something in your soul, hit that like button and subscribe for more. We're just getting started. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay with me. Number 1, they may not text, but your absence will. It's not the message they miss, it's the access they lost. Let's get something clear right now. Just because they're not texting you doesn't mean they're not thinking about you. Just because their phone is quiet doesn't mean their mind is. Silence doesn't equal peace. Sometimes silence is the loudest scream their ego can't handle. You ever see a stage after the curtains close? The spotlight is off, the crowd is gone, the room is empty, but there's still an echo lingering in the air, the performance, the presence, the energy that once filled that space. That's you now. They may have left the room, but your presence, it's still vibrating through every corner they walk into. But here's what you might be asking. If they're not texting, do they even care? That's the lie you've been fed. That silence means indifference. That absence means replacement. That if they aren't reaching out, you must be forgettable. That's emotional sabotage disguised as logic. And today, we're going to break that. Because the truth is, your absence is doing what your presence never could. It's showing them who you are, without words, without noise, without the performance. They expected you to fall apart. They expected late-night messages. They expected Instagram quotes, sad posts, subtle jabs. They expected signs that you were still waiting for them to come back. But instead, they got nothing, and that nothing, that's shaking them harder than a paragraph ever could. You see, folks, some people don't know how to handle not being the center of your storm. They thrive when you react. They feel important when you reach out. They get high on your anxiety. But when you go silent, when you take your power back and stop giving them emotional breadcrumbs to chew on, that's when they feel the emptiness they created. They may not say it. Their pride won't let them, but your absence is being felt in real time, in quiet moments, in unexpected places, in songs that used to mean nothing and now feel heavy, in conversations where your name used to be mentioned freely, but now only exists as a pause. You've become the elephant in their peace, the shadow in their sunlight. Here's what makes this hard. You're human, you've got emotions, and part of you still wonders, what if they never text again? And that fear, oh, it's real. It pulls at you. It tempts you to break your silence just to feel visible again. But my friends, let me tell you something powerful. They may not text, but your absence, it texts their soul every single day. And guess what that message says? It says, I no longer need your attention to exist. It says, I found my glow in the dark you left behind. It says, you lost access to my world when you mistook my love for weakness. Don't fall for the trap of thinking silence means you've been erased. You haven't been erased. You've been remembered in ways you'll never even see. The mind is funny like that. It hides what hurts until the room goes quiet, and that's when memories start to walk in uninvited. Picture this. They're laughing with friends, scrolling through reels, doing everything they can to look unbothered. But then it hits, that silence, that pause, that little moment when a laugh fades too quickly, and suddenly your name pops up in their mind like a whisper behind their ear. They try to shake it off. They try to block it, but the more they ignore it, the louder it grows. That's not obsession. That's your energy collecting its debt. Because the truth is, people remember the ones who don't beg to be remembered. That's what burns. That's what lasts. Not the one who chased them down, not the one who blew up their phone, but the one who stood up, wiped the tears, and walked away without needing an audience. Let me tell you something else. They may replace attention, that's easy, but they can't replace energy. And you, my friend, were energy. Not convenience, not backup, not an option. Energy. That stays, that echoes, that haunts. So if you're sitting there wondering if they care, let me speak truth into your bones. They do. But it's not your job to prove your value through their silence. It's not your job to shrink just so they notice the empty space. You are not an abandoned thing. You are a rising flame. And when they realize they can't stand in your warmth anymore, that's when the cold hits different. Don't send that message. Don't check if they watched your story. Don't decode the silence like it's your job to fix it. It's not. Your job is to heal. Your job is to grow. Your job is to become someone who doesn't need to be remembered to know they were valuable all along. And here's the twist. They will text. Maybe not now. maybe not in the way you expect. But one day, when they least expect it, your silence will hit harder than a goodbye. And they'll try to reach the old version of you, but that version, they gone. He's gone. You've evolved. You didn't disappear. You ascended. And now your absence is the most present thing in their life, not to hurt them, but to teach them that not everything they let go of disappears. Some things just grow out of reach. So say this with me: I don't chase, I echo. Now write it in the comments. Show yourself. Show the world around you. Let it be known. You are done trying to be remembered by people who forgot to value your presence. Let your absence speak the truth your words no longer need to. And stay with me, because what's coming next, it's going to change everything. Number 2, stop explaining, start evolving. They didn't forget you, they just hoped you'd forget yourself. Let me tell you something real. Some people don't leave because they stopped caring. They leave because they counted on you still caring enough to chase them. They disappear because they assume you'll keep explaining your heart, your worth, your loyalty, until your voice goes hoarse. And when you don't, when you go silent, that's when the real shift begins. That's when they realize they miscalculated your softness for weakness, your love for dependency, your words for desperation. But not anymore. Because there comes a point where you stop handing out explanations like discounts, where you stop shrinking just to fit someone else's storyline, where you realize your worth was never supposed to be proven to the people who couldn't even see it when it was right in front of them. Let me paint you a picture, my friends. Imagine you're a lighthouse, standing tall, glowing consistently. You don't beg the ships to see your light. You don't shout at the waves. You just shine. But if a ship decides to steer away, do you chase it? Do you follow it into the storm just to prove you were worthy of being seen? No, you remain grounded, because that's what real value does. It doesn't scream. It stands. You've been explaining for too long, explaining why you reacted, why you stayed, why you gave so much, why you kept the door open, and it still wasn't enough. Not because you weren't enough, but because some people don't come with the capacity to receive what you give. Their hands are too full of ego, too busy counting the flaws they projected onto you to realize they were holding gold. So now, it's time to stop explaining. Because let's be honest, if they didn't get it when you were bleeding truth, they won't get it now. And that's not your loss. That's their blind spot. The problem is, you were raised to think silence equals defeat. That saying less means you lost. But the truth is, silence is strategy and evolution. That's what happens in the quiet. That's what you're doing now, evolving, not louder, not angrier, but wiser, more focused, more intentional. You're not ignoring them, you're choosing yourself. That's a language the immature can't read, and so they label your calm as cold, your distance as indifference, your boundaries as bitterness. But don't flinch, don't fall back into explanation mode just to make them feel more comfortable. Because here's what they don't tell you. When you evolve, you outgrow your need to be understood. And when that shift happens, oh, it shakes things. Suddenly the power they thought they had, gone. The emotional access they used to rely on, revoked. And that's when the confusion hits them. That's when they start asking the questions you no longer care to answer. But why didn't they fight for me? Why didn't he try to fix it? Why didn't they text just once more? Because you're done handing out closure to people who shattered doors. You're done pouring explanations into empty vessels. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not distant, you're done. There's something magnetic about a person who stops chasing clarity from the wrong source and starts creating it from within. That's you now. A quiet storm, a steady glow, a walking reminder that peace doesn't need punctuation. You've stepped into a new era, one where your time, your energy, your heart are no longer open source. Not everyone gets access. Not everyone gets the backstory. Some people only get the silence and the lesson that follows it. And it's not about being heartless. It's about protecting the very thing they never knew how to handle: your depth, your loyalty, your truth. If someone wanted to understand you, they would have listened the first time. If they wanted clarity, they would have asked instead of ghosting. If they wanted to stay, they would have shown up. So now you show up for yourself. You no longer break yourself into pieces so someone else can feel whole. You no longer waste your healing trying to fix someone else's memory of you. You don't chase. You don't explain. You evolve. That's the kind of transformation they never saw coming. Not because you became someone new, but because you finally became who you were before they confused you with who they needed you to be. So next time the urge hits you to explain your silence, your boundaries, your decision to walk away, don't. Let your peace speak for you. Let your absence explain everything your words no longer need to. Let your glow walk into every room they thought you'd never leave. Because here's the truth, and I want you to tattoo it on your spirit. You don't owe explanations to anyone who made you doubt your worth. Say it with me right now. I evolve. I don't explain. Now go write that in the comments. Declare it. Show the world you're done shrinking. Show them the silence they once dismissed is now the roar they can't ignore. And stay with me. Because the next part, we're about to take this to a whole new level. Number 3, unreachable becomes unforgettable. They didn't lose you when they left. They lost you when you stopped being available. You want to know the moment they started feeling your absence? It wasn't when you stopped texting. It wasn't when you deleted their number. It wasn't even when you chose silence over explanation. No, it was when they realized you were no longer reachable, that the door they once carelessly walked through is now locked. Not with anger, but with self-respect. You see, some people only value things when they become inaccessible. It's human nature, and it's ego. They confuse availability with permanence. They think you'll always be there because you always were, until one day you weren't. They thought you'd wait. Thought you'd sit in that emotional waiting room like a good little ghost of the past. They thought you'd keep the lights on, just in case they got bored. But you didn't wait. You didn't pause your life hoping they'd remember what they walked away from. You left, not with a bang, not with a tantrum, just quietly, with grace, with dignity, with a stillness that said everything your words no longer needed to. And now, that silence has turned into thunder inside their mind. The version of you they ignored is gone, the one who used to overthink every message, the one who questioned their own worth because someone else couldn't see it. That version, dead and buried. In its place stands someone they don't recognize anymore, someone they underestimated, someone unreachable. And let me tell you something, my friends. What the ego can't reach, it obsesses over. They don't text, but they look. Oh, they look at your stories, at your glow-up, at your peace, at your silence. They scroll past your name, pretending it doesn't sting. But inside, something burns. Not because you're being cruel, but because you're being untouchable. And that's unforgettable, because they remember how you made them feel. They remember your kindness, your loyalty, the energy you brought into every conversation, the way you listened, even when they didn't deserve to be heard. And now they feel the absence of all of it, like a warm room that suddenly went cold. They don't miss you because you left. They miss you because you're no longer available to miss. And that's the difference. You were a safe place, a mirror, a home, and they didn't know how to handle that. Some people don't fear losing you. They fear losing access to the version of you that accepted their inconsistency. And when that version upgrades, when that version stops answering the door, they panic. But they don't show it. Not publicly, they wear masks, but the signs are there, the hesitation, the random likes, the unsent messages, the "I was just checking in" texts they draft and delete. They're haunted, not by your presence, but by your evolution. Because here's the truth, they expected you to stay stuck in the memory they left you in, but you outgrew it. You shifted, you healed, you rose. And now the image they held in their mind no longer matches the reality in front of them. That's jarring, that's painful, that's unforgettable. But don't get it twisted. They're not mourning you. They're mourning access to you. There's a difference. They don't miss the opportunity to love you. They miss the convenience of you still being there while they figured out who they were. But you figured it out first. You figured out you don't need to be reachable to be remembered. You don't need to be loud to be felt. And you sure as hell don't need to be understood by people who only saw you through the lens of their own limitations. You've become unreachable, not out of spite, but out of evolution, out of growth, out of healing. You became someone they no longer qualify for. And that is the wound they'll carry in silence. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station you once loved, only to realize it's broadcasting on a whole new frequency. That's you now. You're still transmitting, but they're not tuned in anymore. They didn't upgrade. They stayed stuck, and now they're left with static. But don't feel bad. Don't dim your light just to make someone else comfortable with your shine. You are not required to make yourself accessible to people who fumbled the key to your soul. Let them remember. Let them ache. Let your unreachability become the mirror they never wanted to face. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't success. It's distance. Silent, powerful, graceful distance. So say this out loud wherever you are. I am no longer reachable because I've evolved beyond what they knew. Now write it in the comments. Claim it. Own it. Show yourself. Show the world. Show the version of you that used to shrink that you're not available anymore. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally. And stay with me, my friend. Because what we're about to get into next, it's going to show you how your peace became their punishment. Number 4, glow quietly, haunt loudly. They thought silence meant you were gone, but your glow stayed behind and started speaking for you. Here's the thing, folks. When they left, they didn't just expect peace, they expected disappearance. They thought you'd vanish like smoke, fade like a background character, be just another used to be they could forget between songs and scrolls. But what they didn't realize is your glow isn't something they can walk away from. It lingers, it haunts, it burns soft but deep. See, they expected noise. They were prepared for the drama, the meltdown, the post, the look at me, I'm hurting phase. That's what people who run away expect. They expect chaos behind them to confirm they mattered. But when they turned around and saw nothing, no flames, no desperation, no performance, just stillness, that's when the fear kicked in. Because silence from someone who used to give so much is not emptiness. It's a sign, a warning, a signal that you've shifted. And that shift, it shook them. Because here's the secret most people never tell you. When you glow in silence, you become unforgettable. Not because you begged, but because you didn't. Not because you chased, but because you elevated. You didn't shout to be seen. You just became so radiant they couldn't look away, even when they tried. Let me give you a metaphor, my friends. Imagine a candle in a dark hallway. It doesn't flicker for attention. It doesn't ask anyone to notice it. But the second the power goes out, that candle becomes everything. That's what you were. And now that you're gone, the darkness feels bigger. The room feels colder. Your light wasn't just seen, it was felt. And now that it's missing, oh, they feel that in their chest. You didn't have to block them. You didn't have to curse them out. You didn't need to make a scene. You just went quiet. And the quiet started echoing in places their ego can't protect. A song hits different now. A certain time of night makes their chest tight. A scent, a joke, a dream. It's all you. Your energy became the ghost they can't cleanse. And that glow, that's not revenge, that's reflection. They're not haunted by what you did. They're haunted by what they didn't do, the apologies they never made, the effort they never showed, the chances they wasted because they thought you'd never leave. And now they're watching your evolution from behind the glass of their pride. They smile for the world. They act unbothered. But when the lights go down, when the distractions fade, your memory shows up like a quiet truth in a loud world. You are no longer reachable, but your energy is. And that's what drives them wild. Because you didn't glow to prove a point. You glowed because you finally stopped dimming yourself for people who couldn't see in the dark. You found your rhythm, your routine, your healing. And in that process, you became everything they thought they had time to come back to. But now, they don't even know how to approach you. And here's the wild part. You're not even doing anything. You're not texting. You're not posting quotes. You're just living. But even your quiet life has volume. Even your stillness stings. Because it's not the absence of contact that haunts them. It's the presence of your peace. Let's be real. They didn't expect you to grow. They expected you to grieve. They didn't expect you to shine. They expected you to shatter. But you chose the path they never saw coming. You chose peace over noise, healing over chaos. You chose you. And now your silence is loud, not in volume, but in weight. It weighs heavy on their mind, on their guilt, on their memories, and they're not telling anyone this. They won't admit it. But every room that reminds them of you becomes a confession booth. Every new person that doesn't match your energy becomes a mirror that reflects what they lost and what they'll never feel again. So don't doubt your power, my friend. Don't second-guess your stillness. You're not forgotten. You're engraved. You're not missing. You're everywhere they never expected you to be. In their conscience, in their quiet, in their regrets. Say it with me. I glow, even in silence. Now write it in the comments. Let that be your stamp. Your flag planted in the ground of your own healing. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you. You didn't have to be loud to leave a mark. You just had to stop explaining and start glowing. And stay close, because next, we're about to talk about the silence that told the truth better than your words ever could. Number 5. Let your silence tell the truth. Sometimes the loudest thing you'll ever say is nothing at all. Let's break something wide open right now. There are people out there who know exactly what they did to you, and they're counting on your silence to mean confusion, guilt, or regret. But here's the plot twist they never expected. Your silence isn't pain. It's precision. It's the cleanest cut you'll ever make. You didn't go quiet because you had nothing left to say. You went quiet because they didn't deserve to hear the healed version of you explain the damage they caused. You ever walk into a room where something once happened, something big, emotional, unforgettable, and though it's quiet now, you still feel it in the walls? That's what your silence is like for them. You've become that energy, that imprint, that unspoken memory that lingers long after the conversation ended. They may not talk about it, but they feel it every day, especially in the quiet moments. See, when someone ghosts you, plays with your heart, or slowly fades without closure, they're betting on one thing: that you'll eventually speak, that you'll text, that you'll break, that your silence is temporary. But when it's not, when it stretches into days, weeks, months, that's when the panic sets in. Not because you're gone, but because you're still gone. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You didn't send that emotional essay you typed out at 2 a.m. and deleted 3 times. You simply vanished with dignity, with grace. And that choice, that decision to stay quiet, that's louder than any paragraph you could have written. Because the truth doesn't always need a microphone. Sometimes it needs distance, stillness, and silence. And that silence, That's where the real revelations begin. You want to know what silence does? It forces people to have conversations with themselves, the very ones they avoided when they were with you. That's the power of silence. It leaves people sitting with the version of themselves they tried to hide from. The version you saw clearly but never had the heart to confront, until now. Now your silence is the confrontation. And the beautiful part? You didn't need to expose them. You didn't need to curse them out. You didn't drag their name through the mud. You just left the stage. You stopped auditioning for the part of worthy. You stopped performing for love that was supposed to be given freely. And when the curtain closed, you didn't come back for an encore. They thought they had time, thought you'd come around, thought the cycle would continue like it always did. But cycles only continue when both people are still spinning. You stepped off. And now? They're dizzy in your absence. You've got to understand something. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means sovereignty. You're not mute. You're powerful. You're calculated. And they feel that in their bones. Every unreturned message, every unanswered question, every scroll past your page, wondering if you even think about them anymore. That's the cost of playing games with someone who doesn't play anymore. They say, no response is a response. But let me upgrade that. No response is a lesson, a final chapter, a sealed envelope they'll never get to open. You chose peace. You chose you. And that choice speaks louder than any emotional outburst ever could. Because words, they can be manipulated, they can be ignored. But energy, that's undeniable. And your silence is energy, it's truth. It's growth, it's power. It's saying, I no longer need to convince you of my value. It's saying, I saw who you were, and I walked away quietly so I could become who I was meant to be. And now, you don't owe them anything. Not your story, not your side, not your softness. Let your silence be the final word. Let it echo in their spaces like a song that gets stuck in your head, but the lyrics are all questions they never got answers to. What happened to her? Why doesn't he care? Did I really lose them? Yes, you did. Because while they were busy being careless with your heart, you were learning how to guard it. While they were avoiding accountability, you were leveling up your awareness. While they ghosted, you grew. And now, you don't need to shout. You just need to move. You don't need to explain. You just need to exist. Because when you evolve beyond someone's reach, they'll feel it. They'll feel it every time they meet someone who doesn't laugh like you, who doesn't listen like you, who doesn't glow like you did even in your quietest moments. So no, you're not mean. You're not cold. You're clear. And when your clarity becomes stronger than your craving for closure, that's when your silence becomes legend. Say it with me right now. My silence is my closure. Now, write it in the comments. Let that be your declaration. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that you don't need noise to be powerful. You don't need to yell to be heard. You are the calm after the storm, and that calm tells the truth better than your words ever could. And stay close, because next we're going to show how peace isn't just healing, it's punishment. Number 6, peace is not passive, it's punishment. They expected fire when they hurt you, but your stillness is what scorched them. Let's make something clear today. The world has been trained to think peace is soft, that peace is surrender, that silence means weakness. But my friends, real peace, stoic peace, that's not soft. That's steel wrapped in velvet. That's power without noise. And when you choose that kind of peace, when you stop reacting, stop chasing, stop begging, it doesn't just confuse them, it punishes them. Because they expected a scene, they expected rage, breakdowns, long paragraphs sent at midnight. They expected you to spiral, to throw digital tantrums just to get their attention. But when you didn't, when all they got was silence and a subtle shift in your energy, that's what hit them hardest. Not your words, but your absence. Not your anger, but your glow. You see, the ego doesn't understand stillness. It doesn't know what to do when the chaos it fed off suddenly goes quiet. Your silence didn't tell them nothing. It told them everything. It said, "I'm done playing the fool." It whispered, "I don't need this anymore." It screamed, "You don't get access to me just because you once had it." And that scream, that quiet scream, it echoes in places guilt can't hide. Let's break this down. Imagine someone slamming a door, expecting to hear you run after them, but instead, all they hear is their own footsteps fading, and nothing behind them. No chase, no cry, just distance. That distance becomes heavy. That silence becomes a mirror, and guess what it reflects? Them. Their choices, their selfishness, their ego, their neglect. The way they took you for granted, the way they thought you'd never walk away, not fully, not completely. But now, you're gone. Not physically, but energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You pulled your light out of their room, and now all they see are shadows. And here's what they don't realize. Peace is punishment to people who only understand dysfunction. Your calm is their discomfort. Your silence is their consequence. Your refusal to fight is the slap they never saw coming. Because most people aren't afraid of your anger. They're afraid of your indifference, your non-reaction, your ability to move forward without checking if they're watching. That's what haunts them, not because you're cruel, but because you finally became unavailable. You didn't go quiet to manipulate. You went quiet to protect, to heal, to reclaim what was yours. And that peace, that's what sets fire to every excuse they ever made. They told themselves you were dramatic, that you were needy, that you were too much. But now your stillness exposes the truth. You were never the problem. You were just finally done. You started choosing things that didn't include their chaos. You started waking up without checking your phone. You started posting from a place of peace, not performance. You started walking into your purpose without needing their applause. And that transformation, that's what they feel. Not because you're showing off, but because their world doesn't feel right without the chaos your heart once calmed. Here's the truth. People don't miss you when you're loud. They miss you when you're silent. When the comfort of your love is no longer there to soften the edges of their ego. When they realize your kindness wasn't weakness, it was access, and now that access is gone. So no, your peace isn't passive. It's a boundary, it's a signal, it's a locked gate with a sign that reads, "You had your chance. I'm not your healing project. I'm not your emotional safety net. I'm not your backup plan." You don't need to rage to be remembered. You don't need to scream to be heard. You just need to rise, and let that rise happen in silence. Let it be unannounced. Let it be private. Let it be sacred. Because peace doesn't need validation, it doesn't need an audience, and it sure as hell doesn't need permission. Let them sit with the version of you they can't reach anymore. Let them taste the silence they once served you. Let them feel what it's like to be forgotten by the very person who forgave them more times than they deserved. You're not petty. You're precise. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not distant. You're done. Say this with me right now. My peace is my power. Now write it in the comments. Stamp it. Claim it. Let the world know that your calm is not weakness. It's warning. That your silence is not surrender. It's sovereignty. And stay close, because next we're going to talk about what happens when you detach completely, and they finally realize the storm they created is one they now have to survive alone. Number 7. When you detach, they obsess. They didn't panic when you cried. They panicked when you stopped. There's something unsettling about a person who used to care deeply and then just stops. Not out of hate, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. That moment right there, that's when the tables turn. That's when silence becomes obsession. Because nothing hits harder than realizing you're no longer affected. At first, they laughed. They dismissed the tears. They brushed off the pain they caused. They told themselves, "You'll be back. They always come back." Because that's the pattern they were used to. You giving, you explaining, you reaching out. But then something shifted. You didn't just stop texting, you stopped reacting, you stopped waiting, you stopped needing. And that, my friend, was the moment they started to spiral. You want to know why? Because people who feed off your energy can survive your tears, your anger, even your heartbreak. But they cannot survive your detachment. Your indifference is the one thing their ego can't digest. It's like oxygen being cut off. It's not the presence of someone new that scares them. It's the absence of your old self, the version of you that tolerated, forgave, explained. You didn't send a final goodbye. You didn't announce your departure. You just stopped. And that stillness, that decision to walk away without the usual scene, it did something to them. It made them realize you weren't bluffing this time, that you'd really found peace, and that peace didn't include them. Let me put it this way. Imagine a puppet master with strings in their hands, and for years they've been pulling, getting a reaction, a response, a return. But suddenly, the strings go slack. They pull, and nothing happens. No movement, no emotion, no dance. That silence is terrifying to someone who thrived on control, because now they have to face the truth. They don't affect you anymore. And when someone no longer affects you, they become powerless. That's why they obsess, not because they love you, but because they lost control, because you took back the very thing they thought they owned, your attention. And now they're stuck checking your page, checking your energy, checking if you've checked for them. The irony, you haven't. Not because you're bitter, but because you're free. They thought distance would make you chase. They thought silence would make you scream, but it made you heal instead. And healing doesn't look like revenge. It looks like not caring anymore. It looks like waking up and not checking your phone. It looks like peace. The kind of peace that drives people crazy when they know they caused a storm and you're out here, building a whole new sky. You detached, and now they're unraveling. Because here's what nobody tells you. Detachment isn't the absence of love. It's the presence of self-worth. It's not that you stopped caring. It's that you started caring more about yourself. And that energy, that shift, it's magnetic, not to attract them, but to repel everything that was draining you. You became a mystery again, a puzzle they can't solve, and every time they try to decode your silence, they sink deeper into the regret they swore they'd never feel. Every friend they ask, every post they stalk, every memory that resurfaces, it all screams one truth: you're no longer available. And make no mistake, they obsess in private. They won't text, not yet. Their pride won't let them, but their curiosity, it's working overtime. Their thoughts, loud, their peace, gone. They went looking for freedom and ended up a prisoner of your absence. And you're just over here watering your own garden, minding your own peace, living like someone who finally remembered who they were before they were forgotten. That's what detachment gives you: yourself, your time, your energy, your clarity. You've become the unanswered question in their life. The song they skipped that now won't stop playing. The message they thought they ignored, now echoing in every quiet moment. You didn't plan this. You didn't try to make them obsess. But that's what happens when you finally let go without fanfare. You became unforgettable because you stopped proving anything, because you stopped trying, because you took a step back, not for effect, but for peace. So if you're doubting yourself right now, if you're wondering whether you did the right thing, you did. They may not tell you, but their obsession is speaking loud and clear. Your detachment was the loudest move you ever made. Say this with me right now. My detachment is my freedom. Now write it in the comments. Let the world see it. Let them see it. Let yourself see it. Show them that you don't need to beg, to explain, to chase. You just needed to detach, to return home to yourself. Subscribe for more.